Hey guys, this is Jen from A New Fit. I'm excited to have you here today for 30 minutes of mobility. If you have any questions about what we're doing, feel free to let me know. I know you can't see my mouth, so hopefully you can hear me okay. And we're gonna go ahead and get started today with the warm-up. So for the warm-up, I want you to take your left ear and drop it to your left shoulder, and then bring your chin to the sky, right ear to right shoulder, and chin to chest. And we're gonna go ahead and do that 5 times. So left ear to left shoulder, chin to the sky, right ear to right shoulder, and chin to chest. And I want you to flow that a little bit more to release any tension in your neck today and get nice and warmed up. Don't forget not to be moving your torso, but just your head. So once you've gone around 5 times, you're gonna go 5 times in the other direction. So this time your right ear goes to your right shoulder, your chin to the sky, left ear to left shoulder, and chin to chest. And you're gonna go ahead and go around 5 times in this direction. Take it nice and slow, and don't forget, we're just moving the head today, not the rest of the torso. Notice where you are holding tension in your body, and if you find a place with tension, you can feel free to stretch that out a little bit, and then continue around for 5 reps. And I'm sorry you cannot see my mouth moving, but I'm hoping that you can hear me. Turn up your volume if you need to, and let me know if you have any questions. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the shoulders. So I want you to let your hands hang down by the side, and you're gonna roll the shoulders back for 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're gonna roll them forward for 5. This is a warm-up where we're isolating different parts of the body. So don't forget, we're just moving the shoulders. All right, good. So once you've gotten to 5, I want you to let your hands hang down by their sides, feet about hip width apart, and you're gonna turn your torso to the right and left, letting your arms hang, and this should feel good, like a nice stretch in the spine. And there's no need to count this one, we're just gonna do it for a few seconds, and I'll cue you when we need to bring it back. So we're slowly gonna bring this back to the center, and once we're at the center, we're gonna stand forward, relaxing everything, shaking everything out, and we're gonna go to the hips. So I want you to rotate around the hips. 5 times, and then we're gonna go 5 times in the other direction. Perfect, and now we're gonna bring the feet together, the knees together, and we're gonna go 5 times. And then we're gonna go in the other direction for 5. And now I'm gonna have you stretch the ankle. So if you need to grab onto something, feel free to find something to grab onto. Pick up one leg, and you're gonna make circles with that ankle for 5. And then go the other direction for 5. And then circles with this ankle for 5. And the other direction for 5. All right, you should be nice and warmed up today. We're gonna start first with the around the world foot tap. So for those of you who've joined us in the past, you might remember these. And if you're new, don't worry, we're gonna go over them from the beginning. So I'm gonna start with my right leg, and it's gonna be lifted off the ground. If you have trouble with your balance, feel free to grab a chair, put it next to you, and use that to hold on to. You can also use a wall or a table, anything that you can comfortably hold on to, but you want it to be to the side of you. So I'm gonna pick up my right foot, and I'm gonna imagine that there is a clock around me. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my right foot to the 12 o'clock and tap it and bring it back. I want you to focus on a nice gentle tap. Like imagine that you're tapping something very fragile, and then we're gonna go to the 1, bring it back, the 2, bring it back, You're gonna reach far for the 3, and then the 4, 5, 6. Bring it back to the center and reset everything. We're gonna go to the 7, to the 8. We're going around the back for the 9 and use your hands to balance you. And then we're gonna go back to the front for the 11 and the 10. And then you can take a normal stance. Feel free to shake everything out. And now we're gonna do this on the left side. So if you're using a chair to do this today, you can go ahead and put the chair on your right side so that you can hold on here and lift your left leg up. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna reach for the 12 with that left foot and bring it back. Now the 11, the 10. You might lose your balance and that's okay. You can put your foot down if you do. Reaching for the 9, the 8. I'm using my hands, 7 to counterbalance me. Back for the 6, the 5, the 4, the 3, and then we're gonna go around the front for the 1 and the 2. Perfect. So I'm in a gym today, so sorry that it is loud for you guys. I'm hoping that you can hear me okay, but if you can't for some reason, just let me know. All right, so once we've done those, we're gonna do rocking. So this helps with proprioception. It basically also works on a principle, a very main principle that we use in a new fit, which is center of gravity. So when I talk about center of gravity, I'm talking about moving the center of my body over one foot versus over the other, or if I'm sitting, it's where does all the weight sit on me. So we talk about center of gravity a lot, and this movement is a really helpful principle to start to understand what we mean when we say center of gravity. So you're gonna stand with your feet hip width apart, and you're gonna take one step forward. I'd say take about a half a step forward. So my feet are still hip width apart. They're not in line with each other. And then I'm gonna transfer my center of gravity to the front of this foot and then to the back of this foot. So it's kind of like you're a tin man. I'm not lifting these up. I'm literally transferring the weight from the back to the front, the back to the front. So if you feel like you've gotten that, we're gonna do 6 on each leg and we can start together. So I'm gonna focus on transferring my center of gravity to the front for 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. And it's very bouncy. So if you need a chair, feel free to put a chair to your side. 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, and 6. And then we're gonna go ahead and switch legs. So we bring our legs back to neutral. We take a half step in front of us, and then we're gonna transfer that center of gravity again. So I'm gonna transfer my center of gravity to the front, and I'm gonna transfer my center of gravity to the back. Thinking about setting everything up as a tin man before I get started. And we're gonna go for 6 on this leg. And again, we're looking at proprioception today. So how aware are you of your body when it moves to the back and moves to the front? And are you able to feel that weight shift, which is your center of gravity moving over one foot and then the other foot? All right, so when you've done 6 of those, you can feel free to take a quick break, grab some water, and we'll move into the next exercise in just 1 minute. All right, so the next exercise is going to be on the ground today. So for the principles of a new fit, there's many different ways to get on the ground. But for this 30 minutes of mobility, we're only going to go over 2. One is an assisted way to get on the ground, and one is an unassisted way to get on the ground. So it's up to you to understand if you're comfortable getting on the ground without any assistance, or if you need assistance, we'll go over that in the second part. So for those of you who are comfortable getting on the ground without any assistance, please follow along. If you need assistance, don't worry, just wait and I'll go over that in 1 minute. So if you don't need any assistance, I want you to stand with your feet hip width apart, and I want you to take a big step back so that your stronger foot, your stronger leg is in the front. So I'm going to take a really big step back. It's not a half step. It's not a full step. It's a little bit more than a full step. So my feet are pretty far apart. And then I'm going to put my hands on this front knee. So I want to put my left hand on my left knee first, and then my right hand on my knee. I'm going to push into that knee. So I'm shifting my weight over these hands, and then I'm slowly going to lower my back leg to the ground. Once I'm there and I'm in a pretty stable place, I'm then going to take my right hand and put it to the ground. I'm going to take my left hand and put it to the ground on the inside of my foot, and I'm going to move this knee back. Now you're in all fours. If you got here, I want you to move around side to side, forward to back while we go over this for the other folks. All right, so for the rest of us who need assistance, no worries. It's awesome that you're getting on the ground today. We're going to do something very similar, but we want to have that assistance in front of us. So I am going to move the camera over here so you can see how to do it. But basically, if this could be a couch, it could be a bench, it could be a chair, anything that's really stable and sturdy that you can hold on to. I want you to walk up to it so your feet are touching it. And then I want you to go ahead and place your hands down on it. You're going to take a big step back for me so the strongest foot is in the front. If this is really challenging for you, you can go down to the forearms. It's easier to support yourself like this if you don't have a strong upper body. But if you do, stay hands high. You're going to be pushing into this. So most of my weight is over this area. I'm going to slowly lower that back leg to the ground, untuck my foot, and then we're going to do the same thing like we did with the other folks. I'm going to take my left hand first, put it to the ground, my right hand and put it to the ground and bring that leg back. For some of you, that's really challenging. So you can go ahead and keep your hands or your forearms here, and you can put that leg back first, and then watch your head, bring both hands to the ground, and now you are in all fours. So we're going to focus on crawling first. So if you have a hard floor, that's not going to be good or nice for crawling. So make sure you have a yoga mat or rug, anything you can find to put on the ground in front of you so that you have a good experience. So for crawling today, we're on all fours. I want you to think about having your knees stacked below your hips, your shoulders stacked, your elbows stacked below your shoulders, and your wrists stacked below your elbows. So everything is nice and square. And then I'm going to have you crawl forward. And we're crawling contralateral. So that means opposite. So I'm going to pick up my right hand and my left foot, and I'm going to advance them forward. And I'm going to pick up my left hand and my right foot, and I'm going to advance them forward. So I want you to do that utilizing the space in your area to move forward. And then when you get to a spot where you can't keep going, I want you to go backwards. And it's the same idea. So I'm going to start with this right hand, left foot. I'm going to pick them up and move them back together. And then left foot, right hand, pick them up and move them back together. So you're always moving opposite limbs, crawling backwards. And then once you reach the end again, I want you to turn to the side. So now you are on the side, and we're going to crawl sideways. So to do that, I'm going to take my right hand and move it sideways, bring my knees together, left hand sideways, knee out. That's one way to do it. That's the easiest way I find to teach it right now. We can go over some other principles afterwards. So get to the end of the room and then go the other way. Nice. All right, so when you get to the end of that, we're going to focus on some cat camel for the back. So I want you to have your knees about hip width apart. And on my way up, I'm going to breathe in through my nose. I'm going to drive my belly button toward the ground so I have a nice concave back. On the way down, I'm going to breathe out through my mouth. I'm going to look at the bottom of my knee. So I want you to breathe in through the nose on the way up and out through the mouth on the way down. Now I think you've got that. We're going to go ahead and do 5 of those. Remember, on your way up, you are actively driving your belly button to the ground to make a nice concave back. So I'm gonna breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth, looking down on my knees and making an angry cat back. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And we're at 3, in through the nose, pointing your belly button to the ground. Out through the mouth, looking down at those knees. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now you've been on all fours for a little while, so now we're gonna move on to our bottoms. If you have a way that you already like to get there, that's totally fine. I'm gonna show you one option for getting there. One option for getting there is going onto your forearms and walking them out until you can lay everything flat. And then you would make the side you're gonna roll over. So I'm gonna roll towards the camera nice and long. And you would use this opposite leg, you'd bring it up. So you'd bring it up like that. And you'd use this hand and post it on the ground to help push you over so you end up on your back. Now from your back, you know that we've done the rocking sit-ups before if you've done this class, but if not, we'll do them together. So we're gonna rock to a seated position. And in order to do that, we're gonna make it first as easy as possible. So we're gonna think about what's the easiest way to rock up. It's to keep my legs nice and long so they create a weight that helps me go up and then back down, the round back, up, and then back down with a round back. So I want you guys to do 10 of those. So don't forget on the way down, think about being like a tire. You want a nice round back. And on the way up, arms long and out. If you find this to be difficult, you can also grab the back of your legs and hold on and use the momentum from your feet to drive forward. So I want you to do 10 of these today. And once you get to 10, you can go ahead and sit up so that you're in the upright seated position. So now that you're at 10, I want you to sit up, put your hands behind you for support. I want you to spread your legs more than hip width apart. So this is hip width, this is more than hip width apart. And I want you to drop your knees to one side and then slowly rotate around and drop your knees to the other side. So we're gonna do 6 of those on each side and we'll go ahead and get started together. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. If this is really easy for you, you can go ahead and do it without your hands. 4, 4. But if not, you can feel free to put your hands behind you. 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. 5, and 6, and 6. All right, perfect. So you should be feeling pretty good today. Now that we're in this position, this is also known as the crab position. So I have my hands pointed away from me. I have my feet about hip width apart. And I want you to go ahead and pick your butt up off the ground and then lower it back down. I want you to do 6 of those, taking it nice and slow. It's a movement that many of you may not have done for a while. So you're gonna go up and back down. So we'll do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Perfect. So you guys have done a lot already, so you can feel free to sit up, grab some water, take a quick break, and we will move into the next exercise. Whenever you guys are ready, so feel free to shake everything out. Take a nice breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you're ready to get started, we're going to go back into this position and we're going to do like a seated cartwheel to get onto all fours. So we're like this. I'm going to pick my hand up, come over, and now I'm on all fours. So I want you to do the cat camel now that we're on all fours. So that's where we breathe in through the nose and look up at the sky, driving our belly button down for a nice concave back. And breathe out through the mouth, looking at the bottoms of our knees. So we're going to do 5 of those together. In through the nose, out through the mouth, looking down at our knees and getting a nice angry cat back. In through the nose, out through the mouth, getting a nice angry cat back. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice angry cat back. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. Perfect. We're going to stay in this position now. And instead of crawling, we're just going to lift contralateral limbs, which also means lifting opposite limbs. So right now I'm going to lift my right hand and my left leg at the same time. And I'm going to put it back down. I'm going to lift my left hand and my right leg at the same time and put it back down. So I want you to do 5 of those on each side. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4. Make sure to keep a nice neutral back, flat like a table. 5 and 5. Perfect. So now we're going to move back onto our bottom. So if you have a way to get there that you're comfortable with, feel free to do it. Otherwise, you can follow along with this. We're going to go down to our forearms. We're going to walk everything out until we can go nice and flat. Once we're nice and flat, I'm going to roll to this side this time so you guys can see more. I'm going to make this arm straight and this leg straight. So I'm rolling over a straight surface, no obstacles. I'm going to take this hand and place it right here under my armpit. And I'm going to bring this leg up to the side. Now I'm going to push into this knee and this hand to help me roll over onto my back. And now I am perfectly aligned for the rocking sit-up. So I want you to do 10 rocking sit-ups. If you need to grab onto the back of your legs, you can, and use the momentum from your legs to come up. If that is really, really easy for you, then go ahead and put your elbows tight to your quads and keep them like that for the whole movement as much as you can. So I'm going to have you guys do 10 of those. And I will be here to watch. It's not very comfortable to do that on this hard surface. I'm going to watch. Nice. All right, great. Once you've done 10 of those, you can stay upright on the last one. And I want you to put your hands behind you. Bring your feet more than hip width apart. And you're going to drop your legs down to the left. Switch and drop them down to the right. And we're going for 6 on each leg. So left and right. You can feel free to have your hands supporting you. If you can go all the way to the ground, go. If not, don't worry. Four and 4 and 5, 5, 6 and 6. Perfect. And now we're going to go back into the crab bridges. So for those of you that was your first time ever doing these crab bridges, I want you to continue to go just a little bit off the ground and come back down. If this is something that's familiar to you because you've been doing these with us, then I want you to really try and drive your hips to the sky and come back down. If you find that causes any pain in your shoulder, then control how high you're lifting this so that it doesn't hurt. So we're going to do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Perfect. So before we go ahead and get off the ground, I'm going to give you a little stretch. You can lay on your back. I want you to bring your knees into your chest. And to stretch out that lower back, you're going to draw little circles on the ceiling with your knees to get a nice stretch in your lower back. So do what you need to do. You can rock side to side here. You can make circles like I'm doing. But I want you to focus on your breathing. Make sure you're really breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And this should feel good. So it's massaging that lower back. If you want, you can hug everything in nice and tight and hold it. And take a few breaths here in through the nose and out through the mouth. All right, and when you're ready, we're going to do one last rocking sit-up to the seated position. Once we're in this position with our knees bent, our hands flat on the ground, we're going to do a seated cartwheel. So basically, I bring everything down towards the camera. And as I'm doing that, I lift up the hand, I weight that knee, and I bring this other hand over to get onto all fours. Now we're going to work on getting up today. So if you have something you can use to get up with and you need assistance, that's no problem. I'll walk you through that. For those of you who don't, we'll go over that after. So if you're going to use something to get up, whether it's your chair or bench or a couch, be careful if the couch is very squishy. You're going to crawl over to the couch. You're as close to it as you can get. You're going to put your forearm on it and your forearm on it. So that's going to take some of the weight off the back of your body and put it more towards the front. And then you can go ahead and pick your strongest leg up. So I'm going to do it from this side so you can see. But now that I have my strongest leg up, basically I can either use my hands to drive into this or stay down on my forearm. And I'm going to tuck that back toe. I'm going to push my hand into this surface to help me stand up. Bring my feet together and slowly roll my spine up, making sure I'm not dizzy. And I am in the upright position. If you don't need assistance, then you would be on all fours. You would bring your strong leg up to the outside of your hand. You would take the hand closest to that and put it on the knee. The hand furthest from it and put it on the knee. You're going to drive into that with all of your weight. Tuck the toe. Go ahead and stand up. And you are now upright. Thank you for joining us today for 30 minutes of mobility. If you guys have any questions, you can email me at info@anewfit.com. If you want any feedback when you come on here, feel free to put your video on and I can give you customized feedback. And if you're interested in learning more about what we do or joining us either for a group class, a virtual class, and in person, or private training, let me know. info@anewfit.com. Thanks so much. Bye.